Welcome back to the What's a Skeet podcast. Today on the show, we're joined by Jack Evans, founder of Vandango, a new campervan rental business based on the Isle of Man. Since launching in March 2024 with a fully equipped VW van, Jack's been on a mission to help people explore the outdoors lifestyle. An adventure lover through and through, Jack has tackled everything from mountain biking, paddleboarding, to climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, raising around £11,500 for the local mental health charity I'll Listen. Now he's sharing his journey on YouTube at Jack Evans Adventures. He's outdoorsy, entrepreneurial, and probably has more camping equipment than you have kitchen utensils. What's the skeet, Jack?
What's the skeet? What is the skeet? Yeah, we're just off the back end of a very busy, successful week with the company.
Wonderful.
And on a personal level as well. And then, yeah, like I say, we've just had that little hiccup.
Oof, yes.
A minor hiccup, to say the least.
We just started, hadn't we? And then...
You're just getting into the intro there, and then I don't think you'll ever have an introduction that gets interrupted like that just did.
No.
Unbelievable.
No. A fella rang Jack saying that...
The fella out in the camper van.
Yeah, the fella who's got the camper van at the moment rang Jack and said, I think we might have a little bit of a problem here. And what happened, Jack?
So, on the phone, he goes, I think I've just filled up the diesel into the water tank. So, instantly my heart dropped. And I thought, oh, fucking hell, what do you mean you filled it? And he told me where he's filled it, and I confirmed to him that he had absolutely filled up the water tank with the diesel.
And that isn't going to help the water tank or fill the engine up.
No. So he is down 2 lots of fuel costs right now, and he has no drinking water.
What a way to finish a Sunday afternoon.
Yes, I was very pumped up, like I said, because I've had a very good week. I've just been out with the dogs on the hills. And I was feeling good, and then it's just, yeah, I guess you could say it's the joys of running your own business, and it's the, it's
running your own business. These are the things that you come across week in, week out, or maybe not week in, week out, but on a basis of somewhat popular. It happens regularly. Does this happen regularly, do you think?
You get hiccups, you get little things. I mean, it was out last weekend, and it had a little bump with the splitter. So there are always things going on. I mean, it's great when it goes out and there's no issues. That's fantastic. But there are always going to be little hiccups. At the end of the day, it's going out with people who don't own the van. Yeah. They're new. They're completely new to it. And don't get me wrong, I try everything to make it as easy as possible. But at the end of it, it's a lot to take on. People are out there enjoying themselves, and little things like this happen. And it's at the end, it's one of them things that I said in a couple of weeks' time we'll look back and I'll laugh laugh about it. But right now it's how do we go about fix?
Grounds.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fix this issue. He's gonna have to go about his holiday.
Do you ever worry though? Do you ever worry, like, it's your van, it's your company's van? Do you sort of feel that, I don't know, that maybe you're nervous about people taking it? Was that something you felt at the beginning?
No,
Never.
No. I've got, what I've said is, like, I've got no connection to the van in terms of, it's my personal baby kind of thing. It is something that I bought with the intention of renting out.
Yeah.
And I think what's most important to me is, as long as people are going out and enjoying the camper van, these little niggly things that happen and little hiccups every now and then, it's all part of it, and it makes it worth it. It's it's just one of them things. And like I say, I don't really worry. It's
take the rough with the smooth, isn't it?
That's it. And the thing is, people are like, oh well, you've got these strangers in the van, and people see it, they understand that it's like a high value item as such, and they take care of it. Like, most of the time, I get the van back and it's as clean as it went out. So
perfect.
Yeah.
And
so
that makes you feel good too, doesn't it?
Oh, and it just makes you think. People have a bit of respect, and I think a lot of people are like that. And yeah, that just means when these little things happen, that
it goes along, doesn't it? But where like this van idea, it's quite. People have camper vans. People do rent them out before. But what sort of made you want to go down that route of hiring these out? Where does that all begin? Tell us a little bit about where it all started.
So There's a couple. So with the campervan hire side,
Yeah.
basically before getting the camper, I took an interest in doing the NC 500,
Okay.
which is the north coast of Scotland.
Right. I like that idea.
You'd enjoy it. It's fantastic up there. Like, absolutely love Scotland. But you know what? I was looking online at renting a camper to go and do the NC 500, and at the time I was 23 at the time. Couldn't find anywhere to hire a camper van, and yeah, I just ended up thinking, I was like, my uncle's always had these transporters. He must have had 3 or so now.
Yeah.
He's always getting them, selling them, and then going, I quite like them, let me get another one. all the time. Yeah, he loves them. But yeah, for me it was, I quite fancy the idea of doing the NC 500.
Yeah.
Couldn't find a camper van rental place to do it with.
Really?
Doesn't help the matter because my insurance won't cover a 23-year-old anyway. But anyway, I found the camper van and thought, why not try and make a bit of a business out of it?
It's really good, man.
It's something that I've always wanted to do. I've always known that I want to, whatever it might be, work for myself. I want to create my own business, my own empire as such.
Build it from the bottom up.
Yeah, and I think part of it is we went over to Wales, probably 2022, I think it was, and we climbed Snowdon, and we stayed in this little Snowdon. It was called the Snowdon Summit, and I just thought to myself, it was like part of our outdoor adventure trip, and I was like, I would love to be able to do this for other people.
Yeah.
Whether
That's
whether it be little huts, whether it be anything that will enhancify someone's outdoor experience, because that's a big part of the memory. It was like we planned our little route up Snowdon, and it just that kind of vibe. I was like, yes, that takes great interest in me. And I just thought, I was looking at huts, shepherd's huts, and I was like, oh well, it's land and things like that you have to. I was, well, what about a camper van?
Perfect.
I've got the outcast of the camper, and then that's it. Then I'm pretty much good to go once insurance and everything's sorted.
Into the deep end.
So I figured it's a great starting point.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'd love to go back to having shepherd's huts and all sorts, but the starting point is the camper vans. And I love the feeling of the camper van. Me and Lydia, my girlfriend, we've been away in it multiple times, and it's a camper van holiday. It's different because you go to all these places and you're kind of traveling at your own pace, and then you find somewhere you like and you go, you know what, I'm spending the evening here, and you can enjoy it. Yeah,
I've never done a camper van holiday, to be fair, and it's certainly something I'd like to do. I've done a bit of travelling, but something around the camper vans would maybe be. That NC 500 does sound a little bit up my street, I think.
Absolutely. Well, when you went on your travelling, did you did New Zealand? Did you?
Yeah.
Well, it's so hot over there. The camper van holidays. A couple of my mates went over and they rented a motorhome.
Right.
And they said it was fantastic exploring around. And it's in places like New Zealand, in places like Iceland, and across the States. It's massive. Camper van holidays are massive, and I just think. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot in the UK where you can hire campers, but I just don't think it's as popular to do over here. And when you've got the island, Lake District, Scotland, all in your stone throw away, why isn't it? Because it is unbelievable.
But we can do that here on the Isle of Man. There's so much for people to see here. There's so much for people to do here.
On the island itself, you could, like I said, me and Lydia were out the other weekend. We spent 3 nights in the camper van. Yeah. And we hardly made a dent in what you could really do in terms of evenings spent out in it. Yeah. There's so much to see. You've got every corner of the island. It's gorgeous. What's your
favourite spot?
Big ask this.
Yeah, it was just a question that came.
What's my favourite spot? I've got a couple of things. So I, for the first time this year, went up to the Point of Ayre and spent an evening. Okay. I would say everyone who stays in the camper, they go, oh, where should I stay? I go, Point of Ayre, if you get a nice night, absolutely stay there. It's beautiful. Never stayed there myself. Obviously, I've been up to the Point of Ayre loads of times. But I thought, had the camper van one evening in start of February. And I just thought, make the most of it. Yeah. get out in the camper, get some content in it, and then get myself up to Point of Air. And honestly, it was unbelievable because you get the sunrise in the morning and you get the sunset at the evening. So it's absolutely stunning, and it's like you're parked right on the beach. You normally there's normally a load of motorhomes and things down there, especially on the weekend, but it's massive up there, so you've got plenty of space. And it's almost just like a wild campsite as such.
It would be pretty gruesome on a windy day.
Oh, that's the one thing I say is if it's windy, find a different spot. Don't.
The shocks would be rocking. Oh.
Yeah. No.
God.
Yeah. Avoid on a windy day.
No shelter.
No
Flat
shelter
as anything
at
up
all.
there.
But other than that, Laxey, it's just down. I live in Onken, so Laxey's just down the road. We love staying on the promenade down on Laxey Front.
Right.
You've got toilets nearby, which is ace when you've got girlfriend and things, and it's not as easy to.
You can't just whip your tool out when you're a woman.
You get away with it when you're a bloke. You can usually find a bush or a hedge, but for her it's quite nice to be near toilets and things, and then you've got the beach, so it's sea dip in the morning.
Sea dips are good, bro. I do like a sea dip.
I absolutely love a sea dip. And I tell you what, last year, me and my mates must have been down 90% of the weekends down Laxey on a Saturday morning. Sea dip, straight over to the shed for a coffee and a croissant. And honestly, the social aspect of it was unbelievable.
You feel invigorated after getting in the cold, don't you?
Yeah.
People are scared of the cold, man, but it's a secret weapon.
Oh, you feel good for hours after going in the cold. You've just got this buzz when you've been
body's warm and you're back up and you're just like, let's get this day going.
That's it. Well, that's what they say. It's when you come out the cold, you're supposed to naturally let your body warm up.
Yeah.
No towel, and it is But the saunas as well down there. You've got the sauna down Laxey, with Nick's one, Sauna to You, which goes from Laxey to Fenella, and then you've got the Port Erin sauna as well, which is unbelievable. I love that. There is one up north as well.
Have you been in the Port Erin one?
I've been in the Port Erin one multiple times.
Right.
Yeah, it's fantastic. He's got 2 down there now as well, so it's got
growing business.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It
seems to be getting more popular on the Isle of Man. This cold dipping in the sea. I mean, more the momentum of flying with that movement.
It's fantastic to see, isn't it?
It is so good. So, would you say your sort of outdoory beginning started on the Isle of Man, or was that Snowdon trip your first trip?
No, 100% started on the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
But the Snowdon was the first trip away and a feel for like. No, that's wrong, because like you mentioned, mountain biking. I started on the mountain bike probably 2018, 2019, and then what we did is we did a lot of the island tracks. There are some mega tracks for the mountain bikes on the island. You've got all the plantations around. If the bit more extreme, intense mountain biking isn't for you, it's brilliant just to go for a pedal around a plantation. Exactly, it's great for your fitness as well. But it really started with, I went on a trip with my friend Sam over to Wales with the mountain bike,
right?
As opposed to hiking.
Yeah.
And I just thought this was a holiday that was a bit different than any of the ones that I went on prior. My holidays before that with the lads were Magaluf and Ibiza, and then the year after it was going to Wales in a little village to go to one of the bike parks, and it was it was a pretty mega trip. And I just thought, sat there in the pub after going out on the bikes, it was
cool.
Yeah, I thought this is bob on. And then obviously we've had hiking trips as well.
So Snowdon, you got to the top of Snowdon.
Yeah.
Good success. I want to get into this Kilimanjaro trip.
You want to get to the Kilimanjaro?
I want to know where that came from. What's the story behind that? We've got your little outdoorsy lifestyle sort of beginnings there with your mountain biking. Love that. But mountain biking to hiking up Kilimanjaro are 2 completely different sides of the story and the spectrum, I would say.
Yeah.
So how did that begin?
I mean, the hiking routes, I guess, came from just walking on the hills on the island.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got great walks over here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, unbelievable walks. We really, really are so lucky. You've got all the coastal footpaths that are all around the island. So you're never far away from a nice walk.
Definitely.
You've got the hills. You've got all the hills. I mean, you've got Snaefell itself, and you just take yourself up there. I mean, if you park at the bungalow, it doesn't take long to get up to Snaefell, but you get up there and you get there on a nice day. It's a spectacle, isn't it?
100%.
But yeah, I mean, it all started with walking on the island. We've done the Radney Follen, which was the coastal footpath.
Mm-hmm.
I've done the Millennium Way multiple times, and then we've done numerous treks, and it was just like, well, what would be something quite cool to achieve? What would be that next level? And it was like, well, Kilimanjaro is the highest mountain in Africa.
Right.
It's the highest freestanding mountain in the world. That's not in like the Himalayas or yeah.
Oh, is it just a singular mountain sort of thing? I don't know much about
I mean, and I thought, well, that'd be pretty epic. That would be. So I mean, we started looking into it, and I was going around and I was saying I quite fancy doing this and seeing if I could find anyone up for it. And yeah, my friends Sam Moran and Dewan Moore were both keen on it, and we kind of started looking into it. And then next thing you know, we're signed up to do it, and we just thought, why not? And it was a pretty unbelievable experience as you expect.
Scary? Nerve-wracking?
No.
Weren't nervous at all?
Wasn't nervous at all. It was.
Really?
I like to think I was pretty fit going into it. Yeah, I think I looked forward to doing it for so long. It just it felt like it's just something that I had to tick off the list.
Felt ready for it in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that year leading up, we did. What did we do that year leading up?
There must be some preparation for it of some form.
Yeah, so we did Snowdon. Later in the year, we went over to Scotland and climbed Ben Nevis. I was running. I did the parish that year, so I would like
finish
to.
It?
Yeah, finished the parish.
What was that like?
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. That
you must be fit to do that, bro. I respect that.
85 miles on the feet.
Oof.
Yeah, no, it was
Christ.
a little bit hairy at times. Actually, it was tough going. It's road walking, and it was 2022. It was an all right day. It was hot. It wasn't too hot, but I mean, you're on your feet for that long. You do get a little bit wacky. I mean, I remember.
I thought you were wacky anyway, Jack.
Always wacky. No, I was coming down from. So, I was coming down from Derby, and I was thinking, you go up to this church, and I was going, why the hell have they put the bloody checkpoint up here? I was thinking, oh, it's bloody roads all uneven and whatever. And I come back down anyway. Lydia and my mum's there, and I'm like, I'm not doing this. I was like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going any further. I'm going to finish here. I was like, I know I can get around, but I don't want to. Lydia turned around and she goes, just get to the next checkpoint. Little did I know the next checkpoint was all the way up in Bride, is it? Bride's next one after Derby.
Yeah.
Which is like 10 miles down the road. So at that point, I was in a completely different headspace, and I was all good to go then. I was walking home from that point, and
charging.
It was,
suppose, when you live in Douglas, you are walking home from there, aren't you?
That was it. I was like, once I get to Bride or top of the island, I was like, you're walking home from there. You can do this.
Charge.
And I'd done it before, and in terms of one of my practice walks was from basically the top to back home again. So I was like, I can do this. But yeah, the parish is a tough one. It was another one that I videoed all online as well.
Did you?
Yeah, so my training and stuff, I was going out and doing little check-ins, and then when I was going around on the parish itself, every time I was getting to one of the parishes, I was doing a little video and checking in, and then by the end of it, you want to see me walking. I'm all completely wonky, and I'm like walking down the promenade like yeah, it was yeah.
I don't know about that, but I don't know if that's for me. Like, I just don't. The mental battle would be tremendous, and the overcoming the challenge would be great. But I'm not sure that. Yeah, putting myself through all that pain is a strange one. But was that before or after the Kilimanjaro walk?
That was before.
So you knew you could hike a good distance.
Oh, I knew. Yeah, no, I knew I had the distance, and then
the uphill.
The uphill. I mean, you get the itinerary through, and we did it over a longer period of time. I wish I could tell you the route. What that was.
Yeah. It's all right.
the Lamosha route. Anyway,
When you're up that high, can you breathe?
yeah, you can.
Can you breathe at the top?
Yeah, you can breathe. It's laboured. You are a bit more.
Can you notice the change sort of thing?
Yeah. Well, when you're up there, so you can suffer from altitude sickness, which I did. There are little tablets that you can take to help, and we decided, oh well, let's see how it is without the tablets. I mean, the guides were like, come on, you need to take the tablets because they want to get you up there. But yeah, we decided not to. And on the last day, it must have been about 2.5, 3 hours from the top, I really started to feel the altitude sickness for the first time. And it was a really horrible, intense feeling. And we were just stood there having a bit of a break, and I just went, I'm going to be sick. And that was it then. I was just...
Is it like seasickness?
Oh, no, no, it wasn't like a seasickness. That's what it was. Just like you just had no energy, and yeah, you felt pretty zapped. I mean, I was able to keep on going, but I look back at the video that I made, and I just felt like my face was droopy, and I was definitely not okay then.
Weren't with us.
But it's funny because as soon as we got to the top, we got to the top, and I was like, yeah, brilliant, fantastic.
Yeah.
Get me back down kind of thing.
How long did the back down take you compared to the going up?
So the going up was over a six-day period.
Good Lord.
And like I say, we went on a scenic route. That was the route that we went up.
6 days?
Yeah, and then it was...
When did you stop for Scran? Did you have to bring it with you?
This is all part of it now. So when you go over, you pay a company, and they'll sort your guides and your porters and your things to help you up the mountain.
Yeah.
And this was it. So day one, we were trekking up, and they get all set up at these campsites before you even get there. So by the time you get up, you walk up. You're walking at a really slow pace. They go pole, which means slowly, just to try and get you kind of used to the altitude. And now, on this first day, I think we got to the first camp, and it was 1,800 meters. So high, but not very high. I mean, Snaefell's 600, so it's considerably higher, but it doesn't feel that challenging. Anyway, we get there, and it's like the city of tents. And you've got your muck tent where everyone's eating, and then all the tents where everyone's staying, and you have to do none of it. It's all set up for you.
Oh, really?
Anyway, we get down, and they're like, "Oh, get you in for dinner," and we got in for the first meal, and it was like a 4-course meal, eating better than what I would at home.
What?
And I was thinking, held on a second. I was like, this isn't right. And I was thinking, I thought we were going to come here, it'd be challenging. We'll be on like the space food.
Beans and rice
yeah,
or something.
I just had in my head. But honestly, the food that they were giving us on the mountain was unbelievable.
I suppose it has to be half decent so that you're energized enough to walk up the bloody thing.
Yeah, absolutely. There is that aspect of it. But I think that almost... It took away from it for me a little bit, and I thought in my head I was going to go over to do this real epic challenge.
Yeah, it's like an expedition.
Yeah, and after that, I don't think it was quite what I thought it was going to be. And don't get me wrong, it was a great achievement. We raised a lot of money for the charity, which was unbelievable.
That's unbelievable, by the way. I just want to point that out. That is a phenomenal amount of money, and that is very respectable.
Yeah, no, me and the boys, we were over the moon with that side of it. But yeah, in terms of the challenge aspect, other than the last 2 or 3 hours on that final day, I just thought, yeah, we've almost been babied up this mountain, and I just wanted to really get rough and toughed a little bit.
It wasn't the full achievement because it wasn't so sort of brute force sort of thing.
And the thing is, though, it's such a money earner for them over there. Yeah. That you would feel wrong not going through them. I mean, it's one of the best paid jobs for them to do in that kind of region. And
probably funds their government, mate.
Yeah. Oh,
no one's going to own that hill. That'll be...
all permits and everything to go up it. So the money that's in the touristy industry of climbing the mountain is mega. And it was like we were on the tour bus, and they were picking up the guides and the porters along the way, and they're like on the phone organising it. I was like, do you want to come up the mountain kind of thing? And anyway, they were just jumping on as we were going along to collect it. But yeah, it was an eye-opening experience. I mean, going to Africa.
And what year was that?
2022.
Okay, so this was before the van, the business entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Hang on. Entrepreneurial side. So were you working a full-time job then?
Yes, I was working full-time.
Right. Okay.
Yes, I was working full-time. I was at Manx Telecom.
Right. Okay.
So I was down in the shop hustling, selling phones,
hustling
and bustling,
right.
selling phones and things.
Then the transition from full-time job to sort of going by your own. How was that?
Because
that is that can be quite a point for people switching into having their own business. It can be certainly scary or daunting because they're not sure how it's going to go fully.
Yeah, it feels like
experience like.
I guess it feels like a big leap for some people to commit to doing it. And I think with me, I didn't jump straight into it. I mean, I bought the van in 2023, I think it was, in February, and then I didn't get set up until the following year.
Yeah.
And I actually left my job at the January of 2024 after the Christmas period. Okay. So Christmas in Manx Telecom's fantastic. It's busy. There's lots of sales. It's great. The commission's fantastic. And I just thought, got to January, quieting down a little bit. I was like speaking to the guys and I was like, oh, I'd quite like to go on part-time after Christmas. And there was a bit of a hold up in it. And they were like, oh yeah, well, we can in January time. We'll get you on part-time. And then they were like, got to January and it was like, oh, well, we can't really for another couple of weeks. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to leave. I just thought, if I leave now, I can put 100% into setting up this business. And then at least I know I've given it my all, as opposed to me kind of half gigging it as such.
Yes.
Because then you're wondering, it's like, oh, well, if I gave 100%, would I have been in a better position?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I left in January, took the jump, and it just gave me a lot of more time to get everything set up how I would like it. I mean, with the website, with the social side of it, I can be a bit of a perfectionist.
Yeah.
So I built the website all myself, and it was like I was doing all this. I am doing all the social media stuff. Yeah. I get help from my friend Ewan with videos and things, which is fantastic. But yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of work when you're doing all the edits and stuff like that. But I just thought, take the leap. They'd always take me. I'd been in Manx Telecom since I was 16, so 8-9 years it was.
Wow.
I mean, I've been all around. I'd been apprentice engineer, but I always found myself back in the shop because it was, that's my bread and butter. That
nice. Selling.
Yeah. So if you recognise the face, it's probably because I've flogged you a phone in Manx Telecom.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Would you say, just for the listeners, I reckon, have you got one positive and one negative of the experience of going from full-time job to then sort of going off by yourself?
Yeah, so a positive and a negative, I guess.
Just so it's clear, sort of thing.
A positive and a negative. I think you could almost form it as the one point. I think gaining your free time is a positive, an absolute positive, to get all that extra time and not be working around your 9 to 5.
Yeah, managing your own day sort of thing.
Yeah. However, it can be a negative because you could quite easily slip into the fact that thinking, oh, I've got all the time in the world now to do that. And then you find yourself not doing anything throughout the day. And then you're still rushing around of an evening, or you might do your one task and you're like, well, I've just took hours to do this one task that I would have done in an hour or two if I was working, if I had to do it.
Genuinely experienced?
When I first set up on my own, and it was one thing that I was speaking to my uncle, he was like, you probably find yourself taking longer to do tasks that shouldn't take you as long as they are. And I was like, I could see what he was talking about quite quickly. And it was, so I should take it back. I went back to Manx Telecom this year for Christmas.
Okay.
It was my intentions. It wasn't. Obviously, I would have quite liked to. But I kind of got to the point of the back end of the season, the campervan season.
Time, isn't it? Middle of winter. You know, yeah. Going to be shivering the tits off in a caravan.
Well, absolutely. Christmas. So it must have been about September. And like I said, I've got good relationships with the guys in telecom, and I had them. They reached out and they're like, "Look, do you want to come back for Christmas?" And I went, "Yeah, it works for me. It works for me." Anyway, so I went back for Christmas, and then it was this back end of Christmas time. I left in January again, which was the intention. I went back on a temporary contract, and
what was different the second time?
I knew I wasn't there permanently. I knew I wasn't there permanently, and it was just like, I'm going in here to make as much money as I can, so I can set myself up for the next ventures and stuff. Because I mean, one of the things that I want to get into
Stepping stones.
Camper conversions. But I thought, get myself a bit of cash behind me, and then we'll be good to go. But anyway, we left again in January, and it was that time round when I was coming to my last couple of weeks. I said, I am absolutely not doing this next year. So I'm going to do everything in my power to not be in a position where I have to come back next year. So I think my work and how productive I am doing my Vandango, what you see with my personal brand now that I'm almost building at the same time, is I feel like I'm flat out, which is what
quality.
Which is what I
You're
want to be.
busy, you're doing things, you feel good. Keeps your mind busy. Don't give you time to rest.
That's it. Absolutely. You
keep going. Keep pushing.
Yeah, it's quite rewarding as well when you've had a week when you've been proper on it. You feel good.
You get to the end of the week, I've actually done some. Got shit done.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was this week. That was this week.
Until your man phoned. So talk to me then about the camper conversions. You mentioned that there. What's the plan there?
I think the next step for me is I need another van for the hire out fleet. I would like to get another van in the hire out fleet, ideally for this year, whether it will be or not.
Touch and go. Yeah,
but and the reason for that is because I would like to be involved in the conversion of this one.
Oh, so why?
Because I think it's the route that I'd quite like to go down.
You want to build a connection with this van.
Yeah,
because you mentioned at the start that you didn't want to build a connection. You don't have a connection with this van, but then you want to build a connection with the new van.
Well, no. Yes, I would like to know more about the van. And I think by doing the conversion, I would know a lot more about them. And I think the natural step for me, for the business as a whole, is to be able to offer the hire outs, the conversions and sales off them.
Okay.
And then I think that would be put me in quite a good position.
Yeah. So that's the plan.
That is the plan. And hopefully over the next year, 18 months, that's the way that we'll be building. Mm-hmm. I think they almost go hand in hand as well. And it's like you say, with the hire outside, when it is quieter off the winter time, the conversions will almost tick over all year round, and then also the sales and things. So it's
so do you mean doing other people's conversions then?
At some point, yes. Okay. Yeah, at some point I would like to do the conversions for other people. I would love to see people see the vans that I've done online and go, I want him to do my conversion.
Mint.
Yeah, let's get this sorted.
I like that. So I feel that vibe, mate. I think that's a good idea.
Absolutely.
That is a great idea. What would you put in your own van then? Talk me through a little bit. What would you make your van? How would you make your vans different?
I think with the transporter van, which is what I've got with the Vandango fleet now, there is only very little that you can do with the layout and things like that.
Okay.
I would like another one of them size. So again, it's probably going to be a very similar sort of design as what I've got on this current van. I mean, that's your pop top, you've got a kitchen unit, and you've got your roller bed. Probably stick with a very similar design on that one. But it's when you get to the bigger ones, that's
Talk to me about that.
So
what would be in your ideal van?
My ideal van, I look at them all the time online. I can't. That's me. It's like Instagram pages that I follow, and it's like
van porn.
Yeah, literally. I seen this one from a company, and I think they're in Lancaster, are they? They're just outside Lancaster. Crozier Campers, and they had a motorbike in the back of it, and they had an awesome setup with a real nice kitchen and a full size bed. And I thought that is pretty immense. My ideal camper, nice big garage, shove a mountain bike in there.
Yep.
I've been saying. I'd love to fit a little Grom, a little Honda Grom, a little Honda Grom. Because the thing is, when I go off to these campsites and everywhere, when you park up and you have to go off in the van, it'd be quite nice to have a vehicle that you can kind of leave the van there and go off and explore.
Yeah, definitely.
So I thought if I could get a little Grom in the back of the van as well as having the full setup, that would be the dream. So nice big garage. What we've got in there, not 100% yet. a nice double bed that's more of a permanent structure as opposed to a rock and roll or a pop top. Yeah, it's decent sized kitchen, and then I probably would have a shower unit just on the fact that when you are out and about, you've been out hiking or running, or it's quite nice to have a rinse when you're in.
Oh yeah.
Because I have it sometimes.
Betty, like,
yeah, you feel good after a shower, and it doesn't have to be anything. Even if it's just a quick rinse down outside, I think it makes a massive difference. So there's all sorts you could do.
Mate, me and you could sit here for hours talking about what we'd involve in a van. Would you have a telly in it?
No telly. I wouldn't have a telly in a camper van. No, I tell you what though, I've seen the projectors. Like a projector and then a screen that comes down, and I go, yeah, that looks all right. I don't know with the telly. It gives me little like motorhome caravan vibes. And this is one thing. I'm always caravans. I was always like, the caravans are bloody horrible.
Bloody caravan.
I was like, you have to drag. And then it was like we were just over in the Yorkshire Dales, and we were staying just outside Harrogate. It was
okay.
And it's ace, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, it's unbelievable, isn't it? It's one of like I can't believe I hadn't been before. But we spent a couple of nights for my birthday in March, and there was a caravan there, and they would dart off in the car, and I was like, that's bloody ace. So that's why I've got the idea now where I want something where I can fit.
Yes, it sparked a little light in the old noggin.
So I won't be cursing the caravans when I'm going down the motorway now. I'll go. I can see
Vicky's in the rear view mirror.
It's when you're going down the single track and they're like,
cruising at 30 mile an hour. Like, would you hurry up?
Yeah.
Great. That's wonderful, because you could create quite a bit of content by making your own vans. I think that's a good point that you made there. You can the journey in building your personal brand as well as the business is probably very important, because, like I said myself, I seen Vandango on Facebook and social media when it first started, and it's one of those things that you sort of every now and then it pops up and you're just like, oh, he's making moves, he's doing bits. So how are you working on your personal brand? And what is your personal brand, would you say?
So with the personal brand, that was something that I set out to do this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I almost created like a pact with my friend Ewan. And I was like, look, going into this year, we should make a deal where we post online at least once a week, every week for the full year, and then just kind of almost see where it takes you. And it was like, for me, I kind of understood that to create a successful company, almost people want to see what's behind the company as such, and they want to follow along the personal story. So there was an importance there to me that it was time to almost start documenting my journey.
Yeah.
And that's where I wanted to go. It was like I'd had the YouTube channel with when I was showing my outdoor stuff, where you had the Killy video and doing the parish and all sorts of outdoor stuff, and I just thought, I hadn't posted on that for a couple of years, and I just thought, how can I align that with what I want to do now? And I hummed and hard with the name and things, and I thought, if I go down the route of doing Jack Evans Ventures, then it covers all bases as such, because you've got your outdoor ventures, you've got your business ventures, I've got my conversion ventures, I've got all sorts covered under that kind of thing. And it was just, in my head, it was like, it kind of made sense as the next step to start documenting my journey, and it's something that would be fantastic for not only me to look back on, but hopefully some people in similar sort of situations, or someone looking to set up their own business, can take a bit of inspiration from. I mean, that's what it's about, isn't it? It's sharing the journey, and hopefully it'll inspire others down the line.
It's a pain in the ass carrying a camera around everywhere, though.
You say that. I mean, phone.
Yeah, phone's there, isn't it?
I mean, I've started bringing a GoPro around with me now.
How do you find the GoPro for content creation?
This is fantastic, because it's not a big camera, and it's just something, and it just reminds me that I need to start recording some full long form content. So, and it's always in landscape, so it's always like that. I think the problem now is with everything being short form, everyone on TikTok and Instagram, when I was on my phone, like doing it on my phone, it was like the default was just portrait, and it was like all my videos, I was like, I can't get any long form. So I just thought, if I start bringing the GoPro around with me, I'll film a lot more.
Do you find the cameras on the GoPro are very wide span, or have you altered the lens?
Oh, they are really wide span. You see everything on them. I mean, you can set it so it's not as wide of an angle, but I think for me at the minute now, it is just about finding my feet with regularly doing it.
Yes. Yeah,
Posting-
100%, because it's something that I'm looking into. That's why I'm talking to you about it, bro, really, because I think there's definitely... I like that. I like what you're doing there, but the more, another side of me goes, well, do I really want a camera with me all the time? That's why I asked you that question. I'm learning as I'm going on that sense. I think I'm going to maybe go down a similar route of what you're doing. Obviously, we live completely different types of lives and different viewpoints on it, but I like what you're doing. I think documenting the journey as well as creating the business is extremely important.
Absolutely. Yeah, they go hand in hand. And like
you're
I say,
encouraging people as well.
get yourself a little action camera
I
of some sort.
I like that.
And then it's not as much of a burden as a big camera that's got a fancy lens, and you're like, oh, it's
Get Herb to film me walking around or something. Ugh.
That's it. Sorry, I was checking my watch to see if that
Your
was.
man was
Yeah,
ringing you
in
there.
case he was ringing to say it's all gone wrong and it's all up in flames.
But you're encouraging young people by putting videos on. You're seeing that. I think encouraging Manx young people
Yes.
is so important. Mate.
Oh, absolutely.
They need positive role models in their mid-20s who are trying to do things to make a change and sort of lead them in the right direction. But how would you go about somebody who's trying to do that? What would you say to a young person? Would you say, get out there and have a go? What sort of advice would you give someone who wants to go outdoors and have a crack? You know,
Outdoors and have a crack.
You've done it. You've been there.
I'm doing it. I think I'm in the process of
doing it.
I'm in the process of building at the minute. I think it's very early doors, so I find it hard to go, this is what you should be doing, and obviously
Not necessarily shoulds. I mean, you know, if someone comes up to you and says, "Oh, you film your own content," what sort of advice would you give me if I'm looking to start?
it's almost just like put it out there as such. Put the content out there. The worst case, if no one watches the video,
That's what I think, mate.
it doesn't matter. No one's gonna.
You know better, no worse, are you?
No, absolutely not. You're not going to be worse off by posting the content as such. I mean, we had a video that we put out on Vandango, which we thought would be quite a funny one for Easter, and it just flopped. It didn't do very well, and I just thought to myself, I was humming and hawing about it. I had a terrible accent for it, and it was just like it was a little bit cringe, and I just thought, you know what, it doesn't matter. In a week's time, no one will remember. In a day's time, no one remembers the video.
Yeah.
You see so much content online now.
Yeah.
People are just gonna completely forget about it. Worst case, you post it, people cringe at it, and then they forget about it anyway. So who cares?
Yeah, just do your own thing.
Do your own thing. As long as you're enjoying it.
Yes.
As long as you're enjoying it, and you're not forcing yourself to do it because you think, oh, because you've got to find some enjoyment.
It's got to be original too.
Yeah.
It's got to be raw. It's got to be real. You got to be doing what represents you the best.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, if you find something that you're a bit passionate about, like I started doing the outdoor stuff, I just thought I'd film what we're doing, and then if people find it interesting, brilliant. And it did, like with the outdoor side, it never got ridiculous amount of views, but it was never about that. It was like,
you enjoyed doing it, man.
yeah, absolutely. And we were like I say, we did the Rentney Follen around the coastal footpath. Me and my friend Sam, and he tells me he goes back and watches them videos all the time, and it's like, and that was the sort of thing. And it was like, I was thinking when I'm older, and I can look back and go, show my kids, this is what I was doing, and here's a video for it. How unbelievable is that?
Because our parents don't have that.
No.
They're telling. Sometimes I'm hearing stories from my parents, with my parents' friends and things, and they're just like, "Well, we used to do this back in my day." And I'm like, "Did you really?
Yeah.
How do I know that you did that?"
Exactly.
Whereas by having it online, your kids go, "Did you actually do that, Dad?"
Well,
Go
here's
and
the
have a
video.
look.
Well, this is it. When
Evidence.
I'm telling the stories about climbing Killy and me chucking me guts up, and Sam turding on the mountain, which I'm not sure he'd be happy with me saying. But anyway, yeah, no, that's all documented online. Not this, the two senses part,
Not
but
the
like,
full moon in
yeah,
the
not the
camera.
full moon on the camera. But yeah, no, it's great to just almost show your story.
Definitely, mate. And I think you're doing a great job. I think you're making the right steps. You've started. That's the hardest part, isn't it? Starting
Starting can be the hardest part.
I'm in exactly the same position. I relate very much to what you're going through. It's nice to have someone on who is relatable to me in that sense. You just gotta throw yourself out there and have a go.
Yeah, that's the best thing that you can
Have
do.
a go, and that sort of leads us nicely to sort of start wrapping this thing up, Jack. It's been a pleasure having you on for a start.
Good. I'm I've been excited to come on.
I've
Actually,
been excited having you on. Obviously, we had a bit of a blip to begin with your man ringing. But
That
we're
was-
over that now.
We're over that now. I'm gonna have to go off air, and it's like I'll be straight back into trying to figure out what we're gonna do next about that.
But that leads us into our final question
Ooh.
of every podcast, which is, you can have a moment to think. If you could improve one thing about the Isle of Man, or change one thing about the Isle of Man, what would it be and why?
Big question.
Big question, man. We put it out there to try and encourage ideas. Imaginate it. Want different people's opinions. Imaginate it, yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a
Imagination, something along those routes.
I mean, the island is great. Honestly, it is fantastic. I mean, there are things that you could change, obviously, to hopefully improve on it. I mean, a big thing for me is I wish they would do more for the tourism side to bring more people to the island outside of your TT.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very obvious that is one of the biggest focuses.
By a mile.
Focus points is TT,
Which
and
is
it's
a good reason, I suppose.
Oh, it's TT's brilliant. It's awesome, but it almost doesn't need as much of a push as the rest of the year, because for two weeks of the year it's brilliant, and then I feel like they could be doing so much more to bring more people over to the island outside of that time. I mean,
so why would that be a good improvement?
Well, on the outdoorsy side of it, I would see the Isle of Man as, well, why isn't it a similar sort of thing of people going off to like the Lake District for a long weekend, or over up to Scotland?
Yeah.
Why aren't people from the UK thinking, well, why don't we go to the Isle of Man for the three days, or go and experience what the Isle of Man has? And it's just about pushing that right sort of, this is what the Isle of Man is, this is what the Isle of Man has, as such as all the awesome walks, the hikes, whether it's on the hills, around the coastal footpaths. The island has, like, honestly, I've been all over the UK, Scotland, been over to Africa, and I go up bloody North Barrule along the ridgeline, and I think, this is amazing, this is unbelievable. Like, you really are lucky when you're over here, and it's just about attracting them outdoory folks, whether it's for the hiking or whether it's for campervans even. Just, I wish there was a bit more to bring them sort of people over.
Very valid point.
And I think that can almost be done on a personal creator level as well. I mean, it's such a tool now, it's such a power tool, and it's whether the government could enhance them kind of them power users as such, where if you're building a bit of a following online, then they should try and support you in pushing the island as such. And I think that sort of thing would be
like a creator's plan for the Isle of Man.
Almost as such, like a creator's plan for the Isle of Man, because I think that's a very natural way where you can attract people to the island.
That. It encourages people to actually start making content on the Isle of Man and show what we've got to offer.
Yeah, that's what it's about. It's just putting it out there, isn't it? It's putting it out there. It's like, if you don't know, you're not gonna come to the island. So it's,
with information comes knowledge, I suppose.
Yeah, there we go.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming, Jack. It's been a pleasure. Before we go off air, just shout out any of your socials.
Okay.
Give yourself a little plug, and then we'll wrap it up there.
So, socials, we've got Jack Evans Ventures, and that's on your Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. And then for the campervan, if you are interested in hiring a campervan, you've got Vandango Rental.
Nice.
On all social platforms.
Get in there.
And I should mention, the website is www.vandango.co.uk, and you can see more information and everything on that there. But yeah, give us a follow along. You might find it's something that you'd quite enjoy doing. It's like I say, campervan holiday is ace. It's
mint.
Yeah, it's a different experience. So yeah, give us a follow. Give us a follow. Why not?
Cheers, guys. Thank you very much for listening. Jack, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Percy. I've enjoyed that. There we are.